Um, Thank you, Tim. Appreciate that. We'll get on to agenda item number one. We're going to call the meeting to order, but obviously I'd like to make an acknowledgement before we start. We meet today on settled indigenous land, which is traditional territory of the Chinookan peoples of the Wasco, Wishram, Warm Spring, and Grand Ronde tribes. Let us honor this land as traditional native stewards, past, present, and future, and strive today to embody a commitment of cultural equity and reconciliation, ecological conservation, and sustainability. I hereby call this meeting to order at 4 p.m. Tia, will you do a roll call, please?
Greg, Chair.
Here.
Megan, Vice Chair.
Here.
Tamara, Secretary.
Here.
Jim.
Here.
Elazar. Gisela. And Matt.
Here.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much. Everybody should have received the regular meeting minutes in their packet from our November 19th meeting. Are there any changes any board member would like to make? Okay, not hearing any, would entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
Move to approve the November 19th meeting minutes.
Thank you, Matt. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Jim. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, chair votes aye. Minutes are approved. Now on to public comment. I don't see any public here. I know we have Megan here.
I don't have any public
But you don't have any public comment. That's good that you're here from the port.
I do have one piece of public comment to read.
I don't know that we'll let you.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
All right. I'm sorry. Now I need to find it real quick.
You want me to read you the rules so you stay under the time limit?
That would be great.
Okay.
All right. So this is from community member Tina Castaneras. Dear Amy and the CAT board, this is the public testimony I'm submitting since I can't present today for the board's public comment agenda item. As many know, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, has been conducting aggressive actions nationwide, including in Oregon, some of which have been judged to be unlawful. In the Gorge, 12 or more residents have been detained, separating family members from one another. ICE agents might wish to search a CAT bus office or bus stop for a targeted person or for information about customers. Just as other businesses and organizations have instituted protocols for staff and volunteers to follow, I hope that CAT will do so as well. While it is not reasonable to expect a driver to resist armed, sometimes masked ICE agents' actions in the moment, and some drivers or staff themselves might be targeted if racial profiling elsewhere in the region is any precedent. There are steps that CAT can and should take for everyone's safety, protection, and privacy. Please safeguard and keep confidential your records of customers, clients, staff, and volunteers. For any such information to be shared with ICE would require a subpoena or judicial warrant, i.e. signed by a judge. Through training, please ensure that all your employees and volunteers are aware that it is against state law to assist ICE in any way. This should be formalized in CAT policy, which would be in accordance with the policies recommended under state sanctuary law by the Oregon Department of Justice. Prominently post in your office window the yellow square sign that has been professionally designed and produced. I would be glad to drop off one for you if you don't already have one, indicating no entry by federal agents. As a deterrent against any incursion, many businesses and organizations in Hood River County are already displaying these signs. Inform the general public in both English and Spanish of CAT's commitment to protecting its customers, clients, staff, and volunteers in accordance with state laws and community safety concerns. This can be done through radio, social media, a letter to the editor of the Columbia Gorge News, and other means. I appreciate taking the time to discuss and act on this important topic. Tina Castaneras. All right, and as you all know, we do have immigration enforcement policy on the agenda for your review. There are some items on that list we can't necessarily do since we are a federal building, but I think those are all items that we can take under advisement, and we are working with the city, and we'll research to make sure we're doing everything we can to keep community members safe.
Awesome. Thank you, Amy, for sharing. I noticed Councilman Ben Mitchell joined the meeting. We had public comment as well. I don't know, Ben, if you wanted to say anything or you're just here to observe. We're going to say you're here to observe, unless you're still muted. All right, given enough time. Okay, we'll move on to
Sorry, I
agenda.
apologize for that. Just wanted to just here observing. That's all. No public comment from me or anything like that.
Okay, thank you, Ben. Appreciate you being here. All right, let's move on to agenda item number 5, our accounting report. Tia, please go ahead.
All right, included in your meeting materials was the financial report for last month. Did anybody have any questions after reviewing that? No?
Nope.
Okay. Also included was the grant tracker for the first quarter of the new biennium. After having time to review that, does everybody find that beneficial? Are there any suggestions that you might have for future reports and changing any structure of that? Or any questions about the data that was included?
No, that isn't a condition, Tia, thank you.
If there's no,
I just wanted to highlight real quickly that we did receive that 190,000 reimbursement for the purchase of the property across the street, which is a big win. Yes, thank you for
huge.
that.
Yeah, no, it's nice that it's classified in all the different areas to do it, be able to see it. Thank you, it's very helpful.
that's all I have.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, on to agenda item number 6, resolution and action items. Amy, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Apologies, I was on mute. Thank you very much. Let's go ahead to the approval of the Port of Hood River CAT IGA. So staff from CAT and the Port of Hood River have collaborated over the past several months, as you're aware, to develop a draft intergovernmental agreement, IGA, concerning the creation of the Interregional Transit Facility, or HUB, on Port waterfront property. The purpose of this discussion is for board members to review the updated draft IGA and either approve the agreement or request further modifications. And we do have Megan Chanel from the port here tonight as well, if you have any additional questions for her specifically. So at the November 19th, 2025 regular board meeting, we introduced the initial draft IGA, which allows CAT to develop an interregional transit facility on port waterfront property. This agreement is critical as it grants CAT the necessary authorization to construct, operate, and maintain the transit facility on port property for its useful life as required by FTA. So during the November 19th board meeting, we heard that the board wants to ensure that CAT can maintain control over branding guidelines while agreeing that a portion of the advertising space be designated for communicating port safety regulations and waterfront map. The board appreciates the opportunity to have first right of refusal for a potential kiosk in Nichols Basin. The need for clarity regarding potential shared off-site improvements that might be required. Provision was added in the IGA where the port and CAT will work together to identify any potential shared off-site improvements by a specified point in the design process. This ensures that CAT can adequately plan for potential costly improvements. And then also addressing responsibilities for shared facilities such as restroom through the future lease and or IGA amendment, with CAT responsible for the transit facility operations and maintenance. So this feedback has all been incorporated along with the feedback from the Port of Hood River Board of Commissioners. In your packet, you did have a redlined copy of the IGA showing the very specific changes that were made. Are there any questions? Or concerns?
Guess you answered.
Okay.
My only question was the little red boxes on the port map. Those are identified locations for the transit hub.
Potential locations, yes. We have not
Okay.
come to a final location yet.
How does the shift of First Street work with that? I don't even know where it's shifting to, by the way.
It would just shift with it. That map is pretty rudimentary, so when First Street shifts, it would just kind of shift with it.
Okay.
Megan, is there any additional information that would be important?
No, I would just say that that's correct. And the shift is really changing it, Megan, from the like boulevard style that First Street is today with the median in the middle to just being more of a standard two-way street. You know, and in conversations with the city could become a future festival street as well. So to be determined, but allows maximum flexibility for the CAT facility to be on the east or the west side of First Street.
That answer your question, Megan? Okay, thank you. Okay, is there not having any other questions? So entertain a motion to approve the IGA with CAT.
I'll make the motion to approve the IGA with the Port of Hood River.
Thank you, Megan. Do we have a second?
A second.
Thank you, Matt. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Okay, 6A is approved. On to 6B.
Thank you. So the next item is review and approval of the intergovernmental agreement with Hood River Valley Parks and Rec Department. So we've also been working hard with the Parks District and ODOT to resolve a funding distribution constraint. The goal was to determine how CAT could act as a pass-through agency for the distribution of community pathway grant funds from ODOT to Hood River Valley Parks and Rec District for legal fees. The purpose of this discussion is for board members to review the updated draft agreement and determine if it is ready for approval or requires further modification. As you are all aware, we discussed this at the November 19th meeting as well, and we incorporated the following provisions based on the conversation that you all had. One was the payment timeline. So the payment to Parks and Rec District would be processed only after CAT receives reimbursement from ODOT and ODOT confirmation via email that CAT is authorized to proceed with payment, and then repayment obligation. So in the event that ODOT requires CAT to return or repay the funds, then the Parks and Rec District will be responsible for reimbursing CAT in the same amount. The updated draft has been reviewed by legal counsel and is included in the attachments. Emily, our accountant, also reviewed it again and had no further concerns. Are there any questions or concerns from board members?
Well, I think we protected ourselves anyway in that from any issues. A
Yeah.
lot of work for $50,000.
I think I went on a little too long in the last meeting about it, but that was my only real concern.
Yeah.
Counterparty risk is baked into my psyche. So.
I'm glad you're protecting us. Any other discussions around that? Okay, thanks for providing a red line copy. That helps. Would entertain a motion to approve the HRBPR agreement.
So move.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, thank you, Jim. Any further discussion on it? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay, any opposed? Chair votes aye. 6B has passed. We're on to 6C, approval of Title VI policy.
All right, wonderful. So staff have completed the required update to our district's Title VI policy. The purpose of this discussion is for board of directors to formally review the draft policy and either approve or request specific changes. So FTA requires transportation providers to update its Title VI policy every 3 years. The purpose of this policy is to prohibit discrimination and affirm the district's commitment to ensuring that no person is excluded from participation in or denied the benefits of its programs and services on the basis of race, color, or national origin, as protected by FTA Circulator 4702.1.b. The updated document comprehensively addresses all required elements, including the process for filing a discrimination complaint and how the district tracks these complaints, protocols for ensuring inclusive public participation, fixed route service standards and policies, and then the district's limited English proficiency plan. It should be noted that the recent executive orders may introduce new requirements. However, formal guidance from FTA has not yet been issued. So the recommendation is to ensure the policy meets all current requirements until such formal guidance is received. While ODOT has not yet conducted a thorough review, they have confirmed that the policy incorporates all elements currently required for compliance with FTA regulations. If the board does feel comfortable with moving forward and approving this document, staff recommends that it's done contingent upon allowing staff to incorporate any subsequent technical changes as requested by ODOT during their final review. And I did not include a redline copy in your materials only because we completely updated this policy from our previous version. So it was just much cleaner to give you the actual policy.
The only thing I saw is the title is incorrect. It says Title 4 instead of Title 6.
Oh, okay.
On the memo itself, everything else in the document says Title 6, but the title does not.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you for seeing that.
The memo is incorrect.
Yeah, the memo is incorrect. Correct. But that's all. Any discussion there? One more opportunity for discussion. Okay. Anybody would like to make a motion?
I'll move to approve the Title VI policy.
Second.
Thank you, Megan. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay, chair votes aye. 6C passes. Thank you. On to 6D, approval of immigration enforcement policy.
Wonderful. And Greg, we do have a resolution for you to sign for Title VI when you have a moment.
I was warned that that might happen.
Okay, great. Okay, so the immigration enforcement policy, due to recent localized immigration enforcement activities, it has become clear that the district requires a clear, established policy that dictates how staff should interact with immigration enforcement officers on public transit facilities. The purpose of this discussion is for board members to formally review and consider approval of the draft immigration enforcement policy. During the week of November 8th, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, conducted activities in Hood River and the Dalles, resulting in detentions. Post-event discussions with district staff highlighted a critical need for unambiguous guidelines for employees who may encounter enforcement officers while performing their duties, i.e. in the office or while operating a bus. To address this, staff collaborated with MCED, District Council Reuben Cleveland, SDO, and local law enforcement to develop a draft policy that provides clarity for both employees and the community we serve. I did include the draft policy in the board materials, and have floated this by a couple of staff as well, and it seems to give the clarity that is needed for staff. Are there any questions or concerns?
Is this extra training?
It'll be extra training in the sense of probably doing some role playing with folks so they feel comfortable, but also with ensuring people know what is a judicial warrant But it's not a comprehensive training program, no. But is something that we can look more into. We will be working with the city. I know that they are working on developing their different policies as they did enact a state of emergency. Yeah. So I'll be working with them and to see the different policies that they enact. And if there's any training or any other things that we can incorporate into for our folks as well.
Amy, could you elaborate? You mentioned something in passing during the public comments that you read, that our building is actually considered a federal building. I
Yes.
didn't realize that. We don't necessarily have the same sort of sanctuary provisions as everywhere else.
We should still have the sanctuary provisions since we are in Oregon, but it is a federal building, so I wouldn't feel comfortable putting a sign on our door that says no federal agents allowed to enter. Sorry, that's what I was referring to specifically.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, Tamara?
Would you be comfortable making a public statement of our policy and making it known so the public knows what and where we stand as far as that, but also to inform them that we are our limitations because we're a federal building?
Yeah, I would be happy. I think I'd probably open this up more to the board and decide how they would like to make that public statement. I think the intent is with this policy to add it to our website and to make sure that it is communicated to the community. I think in some scenarios, some cities have done, or I forget if it's just a city or transit agencies, they have done some public notice of their policies, and it backfired to a bit. So I think it's something that we probably should discuss more and make sure it's done in a very thoughtful and uh, intent way.
Then, are the grounds federal grounds or just the building?
So technically, it's all been constructed with federal dollars, as is our buses. So, and then, Hovey, maybe you can share a little bit more of what, because they're federal, where that gets a little bit more trickier. But to my understanding, we are federal, so there's probably some things we don't want to, or we want to be very careful with, but we still are in Oregon, so we fall under the sanctuary law.
Yeah, I don't have any additional layers of requirements for this piece, but I think erring on the side of caution is probably good at this time, and just following the sanctuary laws that we have for our state is the guidance that I've been provided for all my agencies to help through these processes and these times. So I think there's definitely requirements about the useful life and how long you have to keep things. But it really is a law enforcement issue at this point. So it's not necessarily, you wouldn't block a police officer. So it's just remembering, following the procedure that you have followed through. So I wouldn't put any emphasis on federal versus non-federal at this point.
Yeah.
As just a glance of looking at it, and your legal team is the one that really knows what's the best for that.
Yeah, and the purpose of the policy was to really make it clear that we don't assist, but we don't interfere either.
Right.
And if it's a scenario where, let's say somebody is trying to board the bus and they have no identification and are not identifying themselves, and they have some sort of weapon, then that is a police issue. So that's when we would call the police and work with our local law enforcement. And this was sent to the city and Chief Holste, and just a quick glance, approved of the policy.
And Tamara, you know, I appreciate, you know, wanting to share, kind of post and get it out there to show that we're doing, but I think sometimes you invite other activities and on social media where people can hide behind a computer, they're bolder and just trying to cause chaos and controversy, and I deal with it on a regular basis. You know, that you're creating stories where you don't need to create it. I think it's great that we'd have a policy and that it's stated, and if we are asked, we could share it. Personally, I wouldn't lead with it or put it out there or highly promote it just due to the issues and stuff it could bring on, unwarranted stuff that we have to engage in or deal with. But it's a board to, if board feels differently, we should discuss
Well,
that.
and I because we were asked, you know, we had the public comment come. That's why I brought it up. I mean, the school district at North Wasco, we've had some challenges with this, and because of the sensitivity of people being picked up at schools or dropping off their kids, it's a hot button issue. So there has been some statements made. We also had at one of the schools, they used the athletic fields for a staging area, and the district had to take some steps to not allow ICE to use their grounds for a staging area. So those are, I mean, those are some things that just, I hear what you're saying, but we have a lot of people out there that are scared right now. They're asking the question, being able to assure them we're the board, you know, and the CAP bus is willing to do what they can and not jeopardize their funding.
And that's an important piece, right?
Yeah.
We rely so much on federal money. I mean, for me personally, you know, it's a really tough issue for me as a board member. I just want to see us use this policy and spend a lot of time and effort on training staff and make that, you know, the absolute kind of top priority to make sure that the drivers know how to react, that, you know, obviously we make sure people know their rights, but yeah, I think just kind of
Don't be a target.
don't be a target. That's a good way of putting it. Thanks, Jeff.
Hovey
Okay.
wants to give a question.
Yeah, I just had one comment just to suggest, you know, it's a policy just like any other rider policy or something. So you could post it on your bus or you could post it somewhere, and it would be appropriate just like any other policy to do something like that. Not necessarily having to announce it, but it's there. If a rider wants to know what the rules are, they have them available on the bus or that kind of thing. So just a suggestion.
Yeah, 100%. And the second you you trumpet that more than another policy, then it becomes a problem, right?
Right.
So, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, just protocol. Use your protocol to post policies as needed.
Thank you. Any other discussion there?
I just want to say thanks to Amy and the team for turning this around so fast. Yeah, it's appreciated.
Agreed.
And
Okay,
I will say too, this was definitely something that McKed and I worked on together. So really big shout out to Kathy and Jessica from McKed.
Thanks for sharing that. Okay, entertain a motion for approval of the immigration enforcement policy.
I'll make a motion to approve the immigration enforcement policy.
Okay, thank you, Megan. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you, Matt. Any further discussion on this?
Okay. I would like to somehow state that we include in the policy revised as needed. Because I don't think this is a stationary situation. I think it is going to be changing. And having that in there to make everyone aware that as the circumstances change, we may need to revise our own policies.
Hey,
100%.
Megan, are you okay with that?
Yep, totally.
And you'd still second having that in there?
Oh, yeah, I'm curious what that entails. I mean, it seems like a pretty broad stroke to me.
Uh,
I'm not sure what-
Just to jut in real quick, I think I definitely appreciate that, Tamara. I would say that any changes we make to that, I would still bring back to the board.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So I think maybe could that be more just an understanding that this is a document that might have to be revised as conditions potentially change, and we will make sure to bring it to the next board meeting.
And yeah. You guys, there is some real negative connotation statements being made towards CAT, how they didn't start training right away. And I did, I said, what are we supposed to train on? We don't have any information on ICE and how to handle that. And I have also told people that we are a federal program. But there is some negativity towards CAT and their lack of action. Is
Okay,
it
good point.
warranted? I don't think so. That's why I'm making my suggestions to let people know that we have to, we are in support of our community members and our limitations. But yeah, that's the only reason why I'm bringing up these questions, guys.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Thank you, Tamara.
Okay, so hearing the comments there, do we need to restate, or are we moving forward with as first presented and not altered to have that? Because we do have the ability to bring it back to the board, just like any policy, which we've done in the past, to do a revision. No, Tamara will make sure that's recorded in the minutes, your comments there, if that suffices. Otherwise, I think we can continue with the same motion that you had, Megan. Okay. Any other comments? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, chair votes aye. 6D is approved. On to 6E, approval of updated 2023-5339 low or no emissions match amount. Just rolls right off the tongue.
Yes. So the match increase for the 2023 FTA low or no emissions grant has increased due to changing the category of some of the funds included in that grant. The purpose of this discussion is for the board members to review the increase and approve a request modification. As the board will remember, in 2023, the district applied for funds through the FTA low or no emissions grant and received an award. Staff have been working with ODOT on this project, and the total project cost has increased from $7,547,518 to $7,561,400. Sorry, $561,407. This change is due to a shift of $100,000 from bus purchase to preliminary design for construction, which resulted in a higher match rate of 80/20. And as a result, our required local match increased by $13,889. The original expected match was $1,106,177, and it will now increase to $1,120,066. We worked with Hovey on this change and felt that it was important to move those dollars to a different category so that we can move forward on design, engineering, and hopefully construction. So, are there any questions or concerns?
Seems appropriate, given the amount of funds that are available, not to let that deter us. Okay, not hearing any questions, I guess I'd entertain a motion.
I move to increase the local match for the FTA lower no emissions grants.
Thank you very much, Matt. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Cameron. Any further discussion on the updated grant match? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, chair votes aye. 6E passes. Nice work. That's a lot of different things to go through. Okay, on to number 7, the operations manager report. Jeff, go ahead.
All right, here we go. Overall safety score, we're still at 99. Great news. No crashes, no harsh events, speed moderate at 0.4%. There is a typo that I just caught. Heavy speeding should be 0.006% and severe speeding should be 0.007%. Safety, yeah, okay. Operations data, our fixed route OTP is up to 94.3%. We made some updates to the software that should be improving, giving us more accurate times for our drivers leaving. There were some issues with the software telling drivers to leave the bus stop a little bit early. So yeah, so we should see that hopefully hovering around this in the low to not high 90s. DAR OTP is 96.34%. Vehicle hours driven 1,014. Miles driven 33,288. Fuel cost 13,227 at about 40 cents per mile. One former customer complaint, 1 vehicle incident, 5 customer incidents. The former complaint customer came into the office complaining about getting attitude from a driver on the city route. The driver could not reimburse him $1 that was put into the fare box. Video was reviewed and it was determined that the driver acted professionally and did remain calm. Vehicle incidents while parking cutaway, a bus in the barn, the front bike rack grazed the bumper of a larger bus. There was no damage to either vehicle. Customer incidents, a passenger came into the office stating that there was a person sleeping on a bus that was, the bus was on a layover. When the passenger woke up, he could not exit the bus because the driver had left the bus. The rider called the police and requested an ambulance, stating that he couldn't breathe. The passenger, after the bus was open, the passenger got off the bus and actually left the property before the ambulance arrived at CAT.
Is that normal policy for a driver to check to make sure everybody's off the bus before they exit?
Should be.
Okay.
But yeah, this was kind of a rare case for us, unusual. So
okay.
A rider was asked to go to the office to apply for a reasonable accommodation after insisting that her shopping cart was a mobility device. She never ended up making contact. Person was loitering on CAT property and began showing signs of agitation. A passenger reported feeling threatened and police were contacted. Officer arrived, spoke with the individual, and they left the area. Another individual was sleeping in front of the building. And when he woke, he approached the CGE bus. I don't know why that, I feel like that's missing information. I think it was somebody was sleeping here when they got to CAT. There's just somebody camped out. Anyways, a frequent rider was on the city bus coughing and spitting. The driver asked if he was spitting on the floor, to which he said he was spitting in his jacket. The rider ended up exiting at the next bus stop. Cool. Employee of the month is Dan Devers. Dan D has been with CAP for nearly 16 years, making him one of our longest serving employees. He consistently brings a positive attitude, doesn't miss a shift, is a key asset in training new drivers thanks to his deep experience and adaptability. He's known for bringing snacks like Oreos to the office. He's a well-seasoned driver who truly enjoys being part of the CAT team. Gorge to Mountain update. We are preparing to launch not this weekend, but the following weekend on the 27th. We have one full-time driver that is in training that should hopefully have a CDL by probably second or third week of January. We are pretty close to having had hired enough employees to have our maximum amount of employees that we can have. The reality is we're probably, if we're best case, like third week of January, we can add service, likely, more likely it's gonna be more like February 1st before we can add more Gorge to Mountain service because of training time and people's start dates for new hires. Okay. Any questions on that part? Okay, ridership. Main thing to call out on the ridership report is on the hours of service. We changed a little bit how we're reporting. I was using hours based on our grant calculator for just as how we've always done it. And then with the new software, Amy actually called this that we can have a more specific number. Mine was based off the schedule. That's how we've been calculating it. So it was for the last few months, it was 12 hours of dial ride service a day, where the new spare software gives us a more accurate number of revenue hours. So those red numbers are adjustments to reflect the actual revenue hours instead of our scheduled hours. The 172 for November is correct. So yeah, again, July through October was edited from the last ones. Overall, our ridership is down from last month and last year, but our boardings per hour is slightly up or comparable to the previous year of the same month.
So the Upper Valley's gone down a bunch, and dial ride's gone up. What changed in the Upper Valley from November to November?
So we went from a deviated fixed route on Upper Valley to now we provide a dial ride service that covers the Upper Valley.
So that's the dial ride's taking the Upper Valley
deviations.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a lot more convenient for passengers to take a dial ride than, the Upper Valley is a pretty large area.
Right.
If you add the two, they're almost identical, actually. In fact, they're exactly identical. Or no, off by 10.
Oh.
Right. I mean, it's 20% and 38%. But you're right. Yeah, I was just wondering. That's what I thought. I mean, they went up like right next to each other. One went up and one went down. It's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's a cool observation, Matt. Cool. Yeah, that concludes my report. There's more questions.
One thing else to add on there. I think that ridership for the Upper Valley specifically probably pretty clearly dictates that there's some concern riding that Upper Valley bus because of some of the immigration activities that have been happening. Because the Upper Valley did go up in October and then there was a pretty big sharp decrease. And with the population that you have in the Upper Valley, I think you could probably draw that conclusion.
Okay, thank you for that comment. Okay, thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it. Amy, you have an executive director report?
Yes. Well, I think I have talked enough today, so I'm going to make it really, really short. I have one item on here, no action required. simply an update for the board that we will be having a compliance review. So ODOT will be coming in person with RLS, which is the consultant that helps out ODOT with these reviews and reviews transit operations to ensure that they are staying compliant with all FTA regulations. So that will be happening January 26th and 27th. I just wanted to keep you all in the loop.
Okay. That's it. Okay. Any upcoming events?
Yes, we have December 25th, which we will not be operating. And then January 1st, we will not be operating either. And yep.
Okay. And I think I missed one. Any other discussion items from the board before we hop down to those events?
That was the Christmas party.
It's fun.
Yeah.
I went.
Did you win bowling?
Yeah.
You're-
I've never
you're
been on
talking
free
track?
bowling. Come on, let's go.
It was a success. All right.
And we have good turnout?
Yeah, we had actually a really great employee turnout.
Similar number to last year, just more employees and less board members, I think.
Yeah, that's my fault. It's my first one I've missed, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in general the team is really enjoying the bowling, and there were some folks that I haven't seen at a holiday party for a while who came, so I thought that was really great.
awesome. Good to hear.
I learned that Troy used to own a bowling alley. How about
Really?
that one?
Whoa.
Or he used to like operate the one in Lake Salmon.
Oh, sweet.
He was rolling. Anyway, sorry.
All right. No other discussion items. All right, we're on to adjournment. If somebody wants to make that motion.
So moved.
Thank you, Megan. Do we have a second?
Second.
You, Jim. Any further discussion? All those in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
All right.
Bye.
All right, chair votes aye. We adjourn. Thank you. Appreciate it, team. Good meeting.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Amy, have
Yes.
fun there in
Thank
Arizona.
you.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Tamara, for your great comments. Appreciate it.